All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 5 of the Chris Reid Show. I've got a very special guest, very special friend with me that I'm excited to talk to. This is someone, Angel, you've believed in me since the day we met. And I'm really excited for you to be able to tell your story. And I've got some questions I've wanted to ask you for a long time. But yeah, you've just always believed in me. And I'll let you introduce yourself, Angel Cruz, ladies and gentlemen. Just say a little bit about your background, and then we'll get into it.
Well, hey guys, it's just a great privilege to be here with Chris. Just going back to when he says when we first met, and he was sharing with me his vision and his business. And I'm always one that when there is somebody who's really wanting and has a purpose and the will to just succeed in life in whatever area or capacity, and what Chris was sharing, what his business was. The only thing I can think of is just to continue to encourage him and to build him up. And even when there was moments when you don't feel it or he didn't feel it, I was always just like, you know what? This is just the beginning. It gets better. It gets greater. Keep moving. Don't look back. Before you know it, 7, 10 years from now, you'll look back and say, man, I can remember this conversation. I can remember that conversation. We have to, as people, when we see a young generation who wants to push forward and become something and to create a name and to leave a legacy, I think it is our responsibility to push forward with them and walk alongside this journey so that they can know that they didn't walk this journey alone. The expectancy of people who walk alongside people is not wealth. Is to be part of a vision and say at the end, hey, I remember when it started like this, and look at where it's at now. So, I'm excited to where Chris and his business is going. I always make a joke, not a joke, I believe this will be a reality, when I say that one day the cover of Forbes magazine is going to be Mr. Chris Reid, vitamin guru of the world. I really do believe that.
Well, thank you, Angel. Yeah, we've been working together for what, year and a half, 2 years now, and I know, like, we kind of talk just casually, but like, a lot of days when I go in there, and I see you, like, there's just so many ups and downs in business, and I just want to tell you that, when you look at me and you're like, Chris, I believe in you. You've got the passion, you've got the work ethic. It really does mean a lot to me, and it's like you need moments like that to kind of like pull you through when things get hard. Because like I said, there's been a ton of ups and downs this year. It's been an interesting year, a good year, but I definitely learned a lot about myself and kind of the impact I want to make. And as we get towards the end of the year here, my vision has never become more clear about what I'm trying to do, what I'm building. But I just want to ask you, like, literally since we met, you've believed in me. What have you seen in me? Like, what made you believe in me for so long? Because I could just be some random guy. Oh yeah, I want to have a business. Like, what have you seen in me?
One thing that I can say, Chris, about you, that, like you said, that there's been ups and downs. I've never seen you feel frustrated or upset about something regarding your business. You never showed that. To me, when you look at the greats, the Jeff Bezos, the Warren Buffetts, when you look at these men, I always imagine when they started, their ups and their downs, but they kept pushing. And I believe that even in that, they had people that cheered them and encouraged them and pushed them. So you never show that part of you like, man, I don't know when my next order is coming or when are they going to want it. You never show that to me. But that's why I constantly say, Chris, this is short time here in the gym. You know that. I always mention, hey, put store number 3, number 4, and 5D looking like.
Yep.
Because we have to call those things out as though they were. I believe in the power of words.
Me too.
I really do believe that. And that's why I always say I believe in you, because you never showed or ever had an expression like, is this really going to happen? Am I really going to make it? Am I really going to succeed? Is Angel just saying that to say it, or does he really mean it? Because sometimes, even as businessmen or starting a business, we question ourselves, we doubt ourselves. That's why we need positive people that can positively speak influence into our lives.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I love that. And yeah, thank you for those words. And I told your story about us a few weeks ago in my networking group, and I was like, it's like, it's been kind of a tough year, a lot of ups and downs, and um when I was kind of really going through, like, because I get those doubts. I'm human, just like everyone. Of like,
Mhm.
am I biting off more than I can chew here? Like, can I really do this? I just remember people like you that have genuinely believed in me,
Mhm.
and I'm just like, man, I owe it to people like you to keep going, and um uh but yeah, so I don't want to just talk about me. I appreciate your kind words, but because you're someone that's making a big impact in the community. And I remember when you first started working at the gym, I couldn't believe it because you were just talking to everyone. And I'm like, he's new here. Like, how does he know so many people? So you work at a prison as your full-time job, but you also help underprivileged kids in the area, correct? And you travel a lot for that.
Mhm.
So can you kind of just talk a little bit about that, maybe your background?
So, uh, I'm presently employed with the Peoria County Sheriff's Office, but I work in the correction department as a reentry case manager. Basically, my job is, what can we offer or provide for men and women who are consistently coming into jail and going into prison? How can we stop that cycle? What is a resource or a strategy to reduce recidivism? Basically, what I do is, if John Doe is saying, "Hey, Mr. Cruz, I'm just tired. I'm tired of this vicious cycle, and I need help." When a person is genuine, when they're ready, basically what I want to do is begin a navigation assessment. What does that look like? Well, what are the hindrances? What is blocking you from becoming a productive, successful citizen? What is it that you're lacking? What are the resources that you need that are going to be able to motivate you, to encourage you, to push you to be the person that at one point in your life you dreamt to becoming? And that could be in many areas, because we deal with homelessness, substance abuse, mental illness, education. We deal with a lot of that. So, depending on the outcomes of the assessment and evaluation, determines what moving forward looks like. It's always been a passion for me to help people, because my background was a very dysfunctional background, raised in a house where the influence was alcohol, drugs, abuse, rejection, abandonment. I never thought that I would be even sitting here doing a podcast. That was never a conversation or a thought, living the way I was living, the way I was brought up, that I would ever become somebody. And I say that because my passion is to go back to the place where somebody reached, pulled me out, believed in me, encouraged me, spoke life into me to see me succeed. I believe my purpose is to continue to go back to those places that nobody wants to go to talk to those that are always being neglected, to talk to those that are always being rejected, to talk to those that have been told and said they can never amount to anything. I really do believe that that's my purpose. That's why I've been doing what I've been doing for over 20 years now. Does it have its ups and downs? 100% for sure. But the next day it gets greater, because that's what I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about encouraging people because somebody encouraged me. I'm passionate about pushing people to do right because somebody pushed me to do right. I'm passionate to tell people that they can and they will, because somebody told me that I can and I will. So I'm grateful to be here. I'm not here to entertain nobody because I can't dance or sing. But what I do want to say is that when I meet a guy like Chris, who has a passion to start a business, not just any business, but a business that can change the health of a person. Today, we look at that health is the new wealth. I strongly do believe that. And Chris is good at that. It's not a sales pitch. It's not, he's a hustler. He has a passion that wants to help people to better themselves. And when I see that genuineness, when I see that, just that want to help people, I'll say this: when you sincerely and humbly help people, your profits will soar and you won't even know it. It's because you're thinking about the value of a person. And when you think about the value of a person, your stocks can go so up you don't even know it.
Yep.
Because it's not about filling your pocket. It's about what you can do to those to build them up.
Yeah, that's amazing. I always say that the number one question we're going to ask ourselves when we get to the end of our life is the impact we have on people. I think that's the number one thing, and um, it's a tricky road because if you only want money, that you'll get a certain dollar amount, and then you're going to want more, and then you're going to want more, and it never ends. I know J. Cole, the rapper, has this great interview where he talks about the disease of more. And he basically says, if you're only chasing material things, the goalposts never stop moving in that regard. And that's so true. It's like, even though I've, just gotten a little bit of taste of success, it's like, as things progress, like, I'm always asking myself, okay, what impact am I having on others? And if that's your number one concern, the money and everything else will come, right? Have you found that? Have you seen that to be true? I mean,
What 100%, Chris. When you look at the end of it all, what is that question you ask? I think for me is the question for me is that I leave a legacy that was influential and impactful, because you're not taking your money with you, right? That's not going with you. So it's not who I left what, is what influence and impact that I had on it.
And it's like, for me, even doing, like, one of the reasons I want to do this podcast is, in today's social media digital world, I just love knowing that anyone anywhere in the world can see this video and get value from it at any time, long after we're gone. I listen to, motivational business talks from leaders that have been dead for decades, but they're still providing value because of the impact they made. And that's just something that inspires me. It's like, obviously this is still on a small scale, but I just like knowing that anybody anywhere can get value from that. So that's just something that inspires me. And I think it's more, with ultra health products, it's more than just supplements or health products. There's people like you that have seen this grow from day one.
Yes.
And people have told me that it's inspired them, and when you have moments like that, it's like, I can just take a small step back and be like, think about what you're doing here. Like, you're actually making an impact. Like, I met a mother and daughter a few weeks ago at a show I was doing, and I met them at one of the first events I ever did, shortly after I launched Ultra Health Products. So they've seen it grow from its inception, and they were just like, your story is just amazing. Like, we love seeing your growth. Obviously they love the products, but you can tell, like, I've just had a genuine impact on them. And it's like, man, when you're going through the tough times, it's like that makes it all worth it. You can't put a dollar amount on experiences like
No,
that.
you can. It's interesting that you say that, because I believe, and then from watching you and working with you, I think people are not drawn to your sales pitch. People are drawn by the passion and the concern you have to help people get healthy.
Yeah.
And I could testify to that, because even the days when we don't work together, the phone calls that I get, hey, is Chris there? Yeah, I need this. I need this vitamin. Is creatine in yet? So it's not about the sales pitch. It's about the passion you have that you want to help people feel better.
Right.
Physically, feel better about themselves emotionally. And that shows. like I always say, you're the businessman that can drive in an electric bike and nobody will know your net worth. I see that
Yeah.
in you. I see you're that type of guy that, you know, you can walk down the street and they would think you're an average Joe, 40 hours a week with a salary, whatever the case may be. I see that in you. And that's a good quality to have. Because when you look at Microsoft and all these guys, and all right, Warren Buffett is worth billions, but has the same house with the same car.
Yep. Yep.
And you wouldn't even think what this guy's fortune is and what he's invested in. You won't think that. I see you like that.
Yeah. And I think people on their journey, everyone's journey and experience is different, but I think people come to that realization that, okay, I was just chasing this money, I was chasing this status, and it didn't fulfill me. Like Jim Carrey, he has this great quote where he says, I wish everyone could become rich and famous to understand that that's not the answer, and he's a really interesting story. He actually wrote himself when he was an up and coming comedian in the late 80s, early 90s. And he would just drive around to like the nicer areas of town and kind of like daydream about like the success of being a successful comedian. And he actually wrote himself a $10 million check years prior, and he put it in his wallet and he just carried it around with him. And he tells the story eventually when he got hired for Dumb and Dumber, his salary for that was 10 million. And that to me, that's just a wild story, but it really tells you kind of the power of thoughts. And when you study successful people, it's like they all have like common core factors of that immense belief in themselves. You know what I mean? And it's like anytime I get frustrated, I remember that there is guaranteed to be someone in history that felt exactly the same, if not 100 times worse than you, but they persevered and they made it, And one of my favorite books, I've said this before, but it's Shoe Dog by Phil Knight. It's about how Nike started. I'm telling you, anyone, not just any business person, but anybody wanting more out of life should read that book, because the obstacles that he overcame to grow Nike literally at every phase just blow my mind. And literally, as soon as I finished that book, it's the only book that I went right back to page one and started again, because it's just that impactful. But yeah, man, what you're doing, it's the world needs more people like you, seriously, because you're making such an impact. And I see it even at the gym. Like, you say people love talking to me, people love talking to you as well. I mean, do you travel? Like, I know you've gone to like Washington, D.C. Like, do you go all over the country speaking
So
to crowds?
it's starting. The doors are starting to open locally. I never want to walk in the door with an ego thinking that I've done it. I want to walk in the door because it was passion and experience that got me to where I'm at today.
Yeah, that's amazing.
When you look at you just watching you, man, and I always say foresee your business growing. It reminds me of when you look at Amazon. It started in a garage, and Microsoft. You look at how many times then these guys fails before they hit it big.
Yeah.
They never gave up. I don't see that in you.
Yeah.
One thing that I always like to say to you, Chris, is, hey, man, you got to start looking at what 5 years look like. Even though you might not be like, dude, I'm not even done with this year.
And trust me, there are days where I need to hear that, because it's like everyone wants their business to grow, but as it does grow, like the problems don't just increase a little bit, the headaches exponentially increase. And it's interesting because it's like, obviously I like working at the gym. It's a good job. But when I'm out and about, whether I'm doing events or whatever it may be for ultra health products, like I'm the man, like that's me, right? Like setting up at high V's. But it's like when I'm at the gym, I can kind of be hard on myself, because it's just like a reminder to me that, oh man, like I'm not there just yet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I got to keep pushing,
Mm-hmm.
and we're our own toughest critic. I can get
Right.
hard on myself.
Okay.
That's why it's so important. Like when we work together, and that's why I appreciate the kind words so much, because it just helps me, you know, refocus. And it's like, yeah, you can kind of be in your head talking yourself up, but at certain moments, it's just nice to have someone else express their belief in you. Um, so yeah, I really appreciate it.
So, Chris, if I can say this, and I mean this from my heart, real encouragement doesn't come with a motive. It doesn't. There's people, but real encouragement
Yeah.
doesn't come with a motive. What I mean by that, if today we were to part, and 5, 7 years from now, I look and you're right in the front page of Forbes, like I always told you, it would bring a joy to my heart. It really would, to say, man, I remember that I would always say that to him.
Yeah.
You know, and the only thing that I would want, if the day you are on the cover of Ford magazine, I will hunt you down to get my front page autograph by you. Because encouragement doesn't come with a motive or a price. Because I believe that's how people made it. When they were in the corner, in a fetal position, what's going to happen? Belly up.
Yeah.
One word could make a difference.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm one to look at people's expression. Like I can tell when you're in deep thought, like when you're trying to, I say, hey, Chris, it's okay. This is what's going to make you stronger and build your business.
Yeah.
You look at Bezos in the garage and Microsoft in the garage, and look at the money that generated from a project that took place in the garage. So let's look at the money that is generated from a business that started in a ghost gym. Let's look at it like that, right?
Great story, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, literally the first products I was sampling from behind that desk. I mean, that's how it started. And I know it's like the people there, the members there, like I'm building lifelong connections with them, you know?
You know, I think about this, Chris. Let's look at 15 years from now. Even if that building wasn't there, you can always drive there and say, this is where it started.
Yeah.
Amazon in the garage, Microsoft in the garage, but my business started in
Yeah.
the gym.
So I know we haven't even talked about this much, but pre-COVID, I worked at another gym in Pekin for 5.5 years.
Mhm.
And then when I started at the Peoria one, like I was starting completely fresh. Like I didn't know anyone there.
Mhm.
You know, you leave all these great relationships at the prior gym and you start fresh there. And there would be days where I was like, man, like, did I make the right choice? You know, coming here. But then you look back and you kind of connect the dots of, okay, everything got started there. My connections there kind of helped, you know, catapult us to the first Hy-Vee store, which led to all these new stores. So it's interesting looking back, like things may not make sense like in the moment, but you really can connect the dots looking back. And one thing I've learned this year, I'm actually going to make a really cool like 2025 year in review video where it's just me talking, kind of recapping the year. Um, I've learned it's not about failure or success. It's the person you become on the journey. And it's like I now have the confidence that no matter what happens with Ultra Health products, like I'm going to be able to regroup and carry on and be even more successful, whatever life brings in the future. Right. And I think that's what it's really about more than just the failure or success. But yeah, that's the main lesson I've learned this year. I don't think you can put a price tag on
I
it.
don't think so neither. When you look at success, I don't ever want to base success on how much money I made.
Right.
I want to base my success at how many times I failed.
Yeah.
Because that'll keep me humble.
Yeah.
Because when it takes off and it will, I can say, no, that wasn't me. I can thank this person. I can thank the guy at the gas station that said, hey man, I got your vitamins. I can walk in a store and be like, man, that's my, but before I got there, this is what I went. I always keep telling you, store number 4.
I know.
And I say that Chris, because I say to you, store number 4, because after store number 4, there's going to be a shift. And I know you're ready for it. I believe that you are ready for it.
Yeah.
I believe
The,
you're ready for it.
the confidence that comes from overcoming obstacles in business or, whatever your career is, this is something I'm experiencing on a daily basis now, but there's such valuable lessons and it gives you the confidence to try and overcome new and different things, right? Because you're like, oh man, this problem that seems insurmountable, I don't know how I'm going to get through it. But then you do, and you're like, okay, I made it through. I'm fine.
Yes.
And now I can take on even bigger obstacles.
Right.
And that confidence, it affects every area of your life. And that's another thing you can't put a price tag on, right? This is something I want to ask you. Did you have anyone like you kind of looked up to or mentored you or you took value? Like, how did you cultivate the mindset you have now of inspiring and traveling and speaking to kids? Like anyone you look up to?
So it's interesting that you say that. So I am 27 years sober from heroin addiction. And one man that walked with me through this process of understanding recovery sobriety, who I did everything possible to try to push him away because I've been rejected a lot in my life. And this person never went away. What I really admired about him was that no matter what I did, no matter what I said, not only that he did not leave, but he treated me as a person, not based on my past, but a person that he see that I didn't even see in myself.
Right.
And man, for the years that we spent together, he had passed away 4 years ago. I said, man, that's the kind of person I want to be. I want to be a humble person, a compassionate person, and a person willing to help those who want help. Because somebody took the time to jump in my mess, to accept me for who I am, but to bring about the better person I was on the inside. That's what keeps me going to answer your question, to deal with other people. Now, it's not always like that with everybody.
Right, right.
It's not.
Yeah. I mean, that kind of just proves my point. Think about the impact he had on you, and because of that, the impact you're now making on others who are going to make an impact on others for generations to come.
100%.
It's like that's what motivates and inspires me, right?
And to add to that, Chris, with you, I see how you are going to encourage people that have a business concept or idea that don't believe they can do it, but they're going to watch you and they're going to be like, if he did it, then I can do it too.
Right, right.
Here's why. Real business, a real businessman that builds a business from the ground up and it's very successful and very profitable, you get to a point where you say, okay, who's next in line? I fought the good fight.
Yeah.
I did my part. So that next person, believe it's going to be better and greater than me.
Right.
It's going to take this to a whole different level. I believe through your experience as you continue to grow, and I always say this to you, you don't have to worry about the people now. At the time when it happens, you'll get the right people. Because you want somebody who knows and understands your vision and won't question it. You want people that'll be behind you no matter what and won't question it. See, that's when you'll find out who you could pass the baton to.
Right, right. And when you're around good people like that, like it just feels right.
Yes.
People that believe in your vision. I'm fortunate. I keep my circle pretty small, but I'm fortunate enough to have, great people around me. And it's easy to kind of let negativity draw you down sometimes. That's why it's important to always stay around, uplifting people that believe in you, that trust in you. But yeah, I always try to keep that in mind.
as you say that, Chris, what comes to mind is to become successful, you must remain teachable.
100%.
And when you say you have a strong circle and you need that, you want to have an influential group of people that can speak with no judgment,
Yeah.
that can correct with love and no hate, but just say, hey, you know what? This was a setback, but it's going to be a setup for a comeback. You know, you want people that, okay, it is what it is, but what do we do next? You got to have the what do you do next type of people. What do we do next?
Yeah.
We don't want to sit and drum. Come on, we got to get out of this. And I believe success can be gained if you remain teachable. Somebody knows a little bit something more than you do. Somebody knows a little bit something more than me. And my mentor always say that, don't think you got it all figured out, because that's when you hit the brick wall, you become a crash dummy. Don't think you got it all figured out. There's somebody who knows a little bit more than you do.
Right.
You know, so I always try to keep that in mind. You know, how I perceive success is the impact that I had on people.
That's it right there.
Mhm.
Yep. Yeah. Um,
And I believe that, uh, man, just to see the time that I've been with you, just to see the growth, you know, it's amazing to watch you. Like I said, you don't flaunt, you don't brag. Like I said, you'll be the guy that'll be worth millions and drive an electric bike back and forth to your office. I really do believe that. You know,
yeah.
that's the type of guy you are. That's the respect that you'll give for that. You don't. Why don't we don't need to do that?
Right. Right. I felt like this year early on, I got so attached to the praise of like, oh, congratulations, you're in high V, you're doing such big things. You know, everywhere I would go, people would tell me that, and it feels great.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing, but you kind of start to get attached to it, and I don't know, you can call it ego,
Mm-hmm.
whatever,
Mm-hmm.
but you're constantly thinking like, oh my gosh, when is that next praise gonna come? And I knew when I was feeling like that, I was like, this is not healthy, right? Like I have to continuously build myself up
Mm-hmm.
to where I'm confident no matter what's going on, right? And that's
Key.
certainly hard. It's certainly a challenge. But I feel like this year I really like I overcame that,
Mm.
and now I'm confident in myself that if the praise comes, if and when it comes, that's fantastic. But I'm not so attached to it now to where it's like, oh my gosh, if I don't have it, like now I'm completely questioning
Yeah.
my sense of self-image, and it's affecting you know, my self-worth. And I feel like that's kind of been the lesson of 2025 for me.
That's great. But one thing I can add to that, Chris, is you're gonna have to learn that you're gonna have to learn how to encourage yourself when there's nobody around to encourage you.
Right.
Because I always say this, and I don't know if I mentioned this to you. There's two type of people in this world. There's those who are genuinely concerned and those who just want information.
Yeah.
And you really have to discern those two type of people.
Yeah.
I think I told you this. Everybody who has your name and number on their phone doesn't mean they're your friend.
Right.
You know, one thing that I know about you is that you don't share the secret or the strategy of your business. That's great. You don't have to, you know. Uh, as time moves on, as your business gets better, that's all part of the succession plan. But I'm just saying is that you're gonna have to get to the place within yourself that no matter what, when there's nobody around, you can encourage yourself.
Right.
No matter what, when there's nobody around, and you know what, I'm gonna get through this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because sometimes the circle ain't always gonna be there with you.
Right. Right.
You know, sometimes it's a phone call, but you gotta have to be able to speak into yourself to say, I can do this.
Yeah, and there's just so many ups and downs in business and in life. And if you don't take the time, and it is work
Mhm.
to cultivate that confidence and that self-image and continuously build yourself up, man, the world will just shove you around,
Mhm.
and you're going to feel lost at some point. And this is another thing I experienced this year is like, we get so caught up in the daily grind of like just always being on the go, being busy 24/7, that we forget to actually put the time in to build ourselves up, you know, and that means different things to different people. Maybe
Yeah.
that means spending time with family. Um, Maybe that means, you know, reading a book, watching a movie, whatever it is, you know. Okay, I'm gonna be the best parent in the world. I'm gonna spend time with my kids. I'm gonna visit my parent, you know, whatever it is. But you have to continuously build yourself up and envisioning where you want to be, because that's massive. That's one of the common denominators amongst successful people, is they are continuously envisioning themselves where they want to be 5 years, 10 years from now. That's why, you know, I'm so appreciative of when you tell me, where are you going to be in 5 years? What are you working on? Because you get so caught up in the day to day. What am I working on today? What do I need to accomplish today? And you forget, you're like, why am I actually doing this? You know what I mean? What is this all leading to? So,
You know, and it's interesting that you say that, because you have to have on your calendar a me time day.
yeah, yeah,
And that could be, it could be in a lot of different ways. But when you talk about me time, it's a time where you have the place to reflect, to ask yourself, where am I at? And that's not a geographical question. Where am I at? Where am I at within my own personal well-being? Where am I at in my business? Where am I at in my relationship with people? Sometimes you need that. Sometimes you need to be in the place where no phone, no nothing,
yep,
just you, and a time to just look at, okay, let me throw everything in front of me and look at what's going on here, because I'm moving too fast. I don't want
yeah,
to skip a beat. Did I miss this? Why is that going on like this? You have to have that me time to reflect, to focus, just to exhale,
right,
just to say, you know what, today is me, whatever that may be,
yep,
you know. Because when you have that me time moment is when you start creating new ideas and new strategies to what's next for your business. You
right,
have to
right.
have that.
Creative people need time to be creative.
100%.
You know, like I'm big on writing my goals down, reflecting on them, maybe rearranging some things if needed. And that's another thing that I always remind myself I need to keep doing. But if someone out there is kind of feeling lost, or they don't know where to turn to, they feel alone, um, you know, is there anything you recommend for them? Like, what do you tell kids that grew up in a rough spot? They don't know what to do. Crime and drugs is the only thing they've ever known. You know, what do you tell people like that?
You know, when I come across young men, older men, middle age, uh, I think for me was looking for someone that the only expectation was to see you become a better person with no price tag. You don't owe me nothing. Somebody that is a positive influence that's going to pull the good out of you with no expectation but to see you succeed. And sometimes you might start at it by yourself, but I believe that words create power.
100%.
And I believe if there's something that you speak into existence, it can become a reality. Because you never know, Chris. You could walk in a building. You're standing in Starbucks on a coffee line and you're holding one of your jars, and somebody says, "Man, I know about your stuff." And says, "Hey, I want to invest $5 million. How can I do?" You just don't know that. That is possible.
Yeah,
And sometimes, like I said, when there's nobody around, what are you going to do to speak into you? When there's nobody there to do it, you have to know how to do it for yourself.
right.
And, but with experience comes the wisdom to see who's who and who's not. I always say, I want to follow people who are going in the direction that I want to go in. I want to follow people who are doing what I want to do. I want to follow people who are living the life I want to live.
Yep.
I don't have time to waste no more.
Right.
See, I'll never get that back. I'll never get time wasted back.
Right.
So I got to maximize the time I got now to see what the future looks like ahead. Now, I can't sit here and look at this as a Netflix series, because I have to play a part in the process so I can see the progress. That's not going to come to me, and I don't expect that. You know, so the more that I give, the more responsibility that I get, that's when you'll see the right people come in with the only intent and motive is man, I just want to see you grow. Because see, there's my reward.
Yeah. Yeah, it's wild because, you go through life and you see so many people that it seems like they've just completely given up. They're just like, I'm this age, this is it. And it just like when you're just constantly around like only those kind of people, like you can just see it in their eyes. You can just see that they've given up. And to be able to inspire and kind of be like a lifeline to people, right? And to be that person in their life that's like, you know what, I believe in you. I see it in you. There's something special about you, right? Um, that's just something that's truly, truly invaluable. So um yeah, that's good. You got anything? Any last words?
So, Chris, now that you say that, I heard a story of a man who was getting ready to speak at a conference, and he was walking and he ran across a cemetery. And when he looked there, he looked at a lot of potential and a lot of purpose that was buried.
Yeah.
I never want to be a man that buries his potential and purpose. I want to continue to find more of my purpose, to experience more of my potential. And for those who are out there, it's never too late. I didn't start my life didn't start changing until hit 31.
Wow.
31 is when I started saying, man, I can be a good person. I didn't get married until I was 51. But one thing that I'll say, Chris, is because I was hungry. I was hungry. And the only thing that was going to bring growth and development for me is what is it? What do I need to do and how do I need to get it to become healthy and wealthy and prosperous?
Right. Did you have just a moment where you're like, oh my gosh, this is rock bottom right here. I don't know where else to turn. Um, I have to get my life on the right track. Because, I talk to a lot of people and they're like, man, things just got so bad that it just like reshifted my focus. And I'm like, I gotta pull myself out of this. Did you have like a moment in your life like that?
100%, Chris. I had a moment where I seen death look me straight in the eye. And for whatever reason, it woke me up like I've never been awakened before.
And you mean that literally, right?
Literally. Like I've never experienced before. And at that point I says, okay, I have a chance to live again. And at that point is, okay, what do I need to do to live a normal life? Remember, I didn't know what normal was. I needed to learn how to be normal so I could live normal. And once I began to just, I think that what got me and what continues to get me to where I'm going is I don't have to be ashamed to say, like, you know what, I don't know.
Right.
Or I'm not going to tell you, you know what, I don't have an answer, but Chris, give me some time and I'm going to look, you know.
Yeah.
And for me was just always asking questions. Hey man, how does that work? People say, man, things come natural to you. That was not always the case. I just okay. I'm working on my book.
You're writing a book?
Yeah,
That's amazing. I was going to ask you about
I'm
that.
working on my book, and it's about my life, where I started, how I started, where I am today, and what's moving and looking ahead look like. And it's so interesting that as I'm doing this and I have a ghostwriter and just going through it, man, it blows my mind to how I seen the transformation take place in my life.
Yeah.
And then what's to come. Here is Chris, if I can be honest, I don't care if it's a New York, number one New York bestseller book. I could care less. I don't if it doesn't generate a lot of money, but if it can help somebody, I got my reward.
Yeah. I always say, like, if this show, whatever you're doing, if it can help one person,
That's it.
then it was worth it because that one person is going to turn into a million plus. And it goes back to, you never know who's going to get value from it,
Never,
you know?
you
And
never know. Somebody could be at the edge of the cliff.
yeah, yeah. So um, I actually want to write a book too, and I'm going to write a book. I just think there's just something really cool about a tangible book. I've done a lot of events where, authors have been a part of the event as well. And no matter what genre, I mean, the second guest I ever had on this show
Mhm.
was a romance author I
Mhm.
met at an event.
Mhm.
And so there's just always been something really cool about having something physical and be like, wow, I wrote this. So that is absolutely something I'm going to do in my
And
life.
without you realizing it, you're already doing it. Everything that you're jotting down is your experiences that turns into a book.
Yeah.
It's truth, it's reality. It's not non-fictional, it's not a novel, it's just true. This is how it all started.
Yeah.
And there's people who need to hear that. But the interesting part about that, the people that are ready and waiting are just waiting on you because you're probably going to be the only one that can reach them. You know, I always say that there's places that you can go and I can go. There's places that I can go, you can't go. But we still have the same thing in common is we want to leave a legacy of how we impacted people. And as long as you continue to do that, please, I always say be humble. You ain't got to brag about nothing. Your word, your name will speak for itself. Your name is more valuable than silver and gold. Remember that. It's more precious. You guard that. You protect that. You protect the integrity of your name, and you'll see how far you'll go.
Yeah.
You don't need to be front and center. I don't want that. I want to be behind stage, dude. I don't even like being interviewed by the media. I really don't, Chris, because that's not what I'm about. I'd rather be behind the scene, man. I don't need all that extra. That's
Right.
me.
Right.
I just don't.
But do you feel like it's worth it though if it does help or impact someone? Like if maybe someone sees that interview you did
Well,
on the news and it's like, oh my
and,
gosh.
and because of that, people have reached out because of those little snippets and stuff like that, and that's how I believe it's going to be for me. Somebody's going to hear something or see something.
Yeah.
We've seen you, we heard you. So, matter of fact, on the 6th of December, I'm in Waukegan speaking at a men's conference. The whole theme is about inner healing. What does that look like? And it's really the basis of this is men who have struggled with trauma all their lives, you know. So this is my fourth time at this conference, and since the beginning till now, it's just growing bigger and bigger and bigger. So the lineup is amazing. And what, what I know to be true more than ever, Chris, is the men, the lineup that I'm a part of. I know these men. I've read their books, and I never thought in my ever life I'll be on the same stage with them. Never. So, you know, when I look at stuff like that, I never want to get to the point and say, look what I have done. No, I am grateful and thankful for the opportunity
Right.
that I get to share the stage with these great men and glean from them.
Yeah.
So it's just for me. Here's what retirement looks like for me. I wanna be a consultant to go to every prison and every jail and talk about a strategic program that can really help the system. My book is going to be part of that. My wife is so funny. She says, your book is going to be the launching pad for us
Yep.
to travel. So, yeah, you know, it's just great to hear it, but it's more even greater when it becomes a reality. You know, like I said, Chris, and I'll say it again, the day's going to come where I'm going to be walking past a newsstand. I don't want to be like, hey, I know that guy. And you're going to be on the front page of Forbes. And I said, I got to find this guy. Why? Because he's going to autograph this for me. I really believe that. And I don't say that just to say it. I say it because I believe in you and I believe in your business. And those are the type of people that you want in your circle. What did I say to you, Chris? When I retire, I want to be your driver.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And even if I don't get that opportunity, it doesn't matter. What's going to bring joy to me is that I remember him when we worked behind the counter together. You know, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
You celebrate people's accomplishments with no expectation. Remember, encouragement doesn't come with a price or a motive. Thanks a lot.
Man, it's amazing, Angel. The world needs to hear your message. So
Absolutely.
I appreciate you being on the show, man. I've been looking forward to this for a while.
Me too. Me too.
So,
Me too.
and I'm grateful to be able to call you a friend, a
Likewise.
friend.
Yeah.
So, again, thanks for being here. I
Yes.
really enjoyed this
Yes.
conversation.
Me too.
And thanks again for the kind words.
Yes.
It really does mean a lot. So,
Thank you for having me.
yep. So that's it for episode 5 of the Chris Reid Show. Ladies and gentlemen, we will see you next time.
Have a good one.
Angel, thank you, man.